Hi there and welcome back. This is my third tutorial on xpaths, and today we are going to do a practical session where we will use a real-time website and create xpaths. Today in xpaths we are going to learn how to use contains, texts and use any attribute of an element. So let's begin. Now looking at the screen, suppose this is our website that we are going to test today, and we have to here suppose we want to find this element, this text element on the search results. So in order to do that, you can do a right click on the page and select inspect, or you can also hit F12 on your keyboard, and that will also land you up in this developer tool. So this by default you land up into the elements tab, and this is showing you the DOM, the document object model of this particular website. Now we are interested in finding this particular element which says delta 5972 operated by. So if click this small arrow icon here and take your cursor to that position and click there. Now once you click there, this it will show you the element which identifies this particular section, this particular element you are interested in. So in DOM, this is the element which says div and with some attributes. So in order to, if you expand this, see, this is the text of that element. So by logic it becomes a text. This element has a text, hence it is also called as a text node. Now let's form an XPath for this element using attribute. Let's first try with attributes. Now for attribute, I'll give you a very simple hack in Chrome or Firefox. If you're using, then you can go to this console tab and use your put your XPath there, and you will be able to validate whether your XPath is will work or not. But before that, you most of you might know that in why write so complex why write dynamic XPath. In fact, there is a way to get it, easy way to get an XPath is right click, copy and copy an XPath. Well, it is true. Now your XPath for this element is copied over here. Now if you paste your XPath here, you see the one that the XPath that this Chrome browser gave you is so big, and it's dependent on time and date. If it changes, your XPath is going to break. So we are not going to be dependent on the XPath that Chrome or any other browser is going to give us, the auto generated XPath. Instead we will form our XPath in more so that it becomes more stable. Now in order to write this XPath, this is the element div, and we'll use the attribute dataset, or we can also use the attribute class. Let's use the attribute dataset. So going to console page, here is the console tab. Here's the hack how you can validate. Write $x open parenthesis and quotes, then start writing your XPath / our element is div, and then under when you have to filter on your attributes should go into the predicates, so square brackets, and then attributes always starts with at, and the attribute name is dataset id equals to, let's go back and what its value was operated by. So let's copy its value, console, again in single quotes, operated by this, and then this is your complete XPath. Now close the quotes, close the parenthesis. There you see you got 24 results of this that can be identified by this attribute. So this particular section, this is your XPath till here, till the closing parenthesis. So if you use this XPath, it is going to identify all of those boxes which has this element. So going back here, let's see, this the first box has the element, the second one two has, the third doesn't have, fourth has, the fifth doesn't have. So not all of the results has it, but some of them do have, some of them do not have. Now moving back to the developer tab again, going to the console, yeah. So now suppose our test case changes a little and we want to find the flights which have fare as 284. We want a flight which has a fare of 284. So let's identify this element 284 in the DOM, and this is the DOM which shows that this is the element which identifies this particular price. Now if you see this 284 is between the closing span element. So if it is between the span element, so this is actually a text node. This is the text. $284 is the text. So and span is a text node. So we can identify this element by giving its text directly, and hence we can let us see how we can use our text function in xpaths. So in order to identify this element, we write the same way $x quotes, quotes, and then start writing. The element name is span, and in order to use text as a text function, the syntax to use the text function is text function equals to, and its text value which is $200, closing the parenthesis, the square bracket, this and this. You see here it shows you that there are 4 airlines which shows with the same value, which is the cost of 284. Now if this is the syntax how we use text. In case of text, it's not an attribute. If you go back to the DOM and see here, there is no attribute called text. When you use attributes, in the predicate, in the square brackets, you write at in front of it. But this text is a function which will evaluate, because span, this element span is a text node, so we can use the text function to get its text value. And this is the syntax how you use the text function. You write the element node, and in the square brackets you write text function. This is the syntax, text function equals to, and the text value. But the thing is, if you use this syntax, remember to use the exact text value. If there is an extra space and the DOM doesn't contain, even if I enter the space, it doesn't match. Even this, it is so case sensitive. So this way we can but using the text function, we'll be able to extract the values like this. So if you see this, there are 4 elements on the web page. Let's go and see. We can verify. This is the first one, second, third, fourth. Let's see if let's see how many elements it gives with the result of 278. We should get on this, since I have this list of flights sorted in the range of money, so it should give me 278, the price of 278 flights. Sorry, the price with 278, there are only 2 flights. So if I change my xpath, that was my xpath with 284, let's change it to $278. See, it gives me only 2 results, and that's what we expect. So this is the syntax how you use text functions to extract values. This is how we use text. Now let's move ahead and see how we can use contains. Now if you take a note of the first element we identified, the element delta 5972, this is also a text node. If you see here, this also contains a text node, but if you try to copy the text node, it contains some extra characters as well, which the text function will not be able to identify. So in order to, if you copy this particular text, copy it and try to put in place of this 278, See, there are so much extra characters, it is not able to identify. It gives you invalid, it gives you exception. So in order to identify an element by a text, we want to identify the element which has the text there. So we want to actually identify the value element by its text, but it's not possible using the simple text method. We can use contains in that case. So let's go ahead and see how we can use this contains. So for this element, it is div. So let's go back to console and we'll write the same syntax, $x quotes / the element name is div. Now starting the predicate, the square brackets. Now we want to use contains. So in order to use contains, you need to write contains, and it's a function, contains, and then open and close parenthesis, it's a function, and contains the text. So the text would be text equal comma, and your text is, let's copy the text to a notepad, and I have already copied it. Contains the text this, and let's paste it here in single quotes. If you paste it and close the parenthesis, close the bracket. Now you see, this is the element that we are interested in, and it identified that. See, if I check here, see, this is the element it identifies. So this is the syntax how you can use contains. So let me copy this xpath, and let me make this a little bigger. So the syntax goes something like this. You write the element name. In our case, it was div. Going back to the div, this is the div element name. Or you can also put star if you don't know the element name, but we'll come to that later. And then you have the predicate inside it. So open and close square brackets. For contains, it's a function. Contains, and you write the open and close parenthesis. If I take off this piece, contains is a function. So open and close parenthesis. It takes two elements. The first element is what you want to verify. So I'm saying I need the text. I want to verify the text, so of the node. So I use text node function, which is text open and close parenthesis. Then the second thing this contains function takes is the value. So the key is text node, comma, the value is what I want to verify. So delta, and then it's the value I gave it here. Now the easy thing is, you do not need to provide the entire thing. You can give a half list as well. Still it will identify. Even if I have the half of it, or suppose if I don't write this delta, I just write this much. If I give a partial string as well, it will be able to identify. So if I give this way, operated something, see, if I take off the delta and the flight number, and give half of the string, I'm getting two results with this. Now but if I wanted to identify with the one that I had delta, it gives me one result. The same way, if I want to identify this element, I can use this text. Let me copy this text to a notepad and just take this much partial of it. Even giving the partial text, the contains will work. So if I give this partial text, so it is able to identify. If I click this, let's see which element it shows. See here, it identified the element we desire for. Now this way you can even identify any other elements. For example, if you are interested in identifying this, which has a text of 1 hour. You want to identify if your web page displays this element 1 hour 12 minutes. So you can put the same thing in this 1 hour 25 minutes, and the element name is span console. So we should write the element name as span, and you see that there are two flights with this timings 1 hour. First one is this, and second one is down somewhere on the page which is not visible right now. 1 hour. So you see, it's so handy. If you use contains, you can parameterize this value. So if you use the contains function, and in this single thing, you just pass your exact whatever your text you are looking for, and if you pass those text here, it will be able to identify. But it depends on the element. If in case here, if you want to identify anywhere in the, suppose I want to find morning, the text morning, here it says morning, right? Let's go and find this text morning, copy this text, put it in a notepad, and I just want to find the text something like this. If I put here star, it is a wild character which will match to any element, and then put here this, see, it identifies how it identifies the elements. See, it could identify there are 5 elements which matches morning 5 a.m. morning 5 a.m. On this page it found 5 elements. So if you put this, I didn't even have to provide the element name. So if I put a wild character, it will find anywhere on the page which contains a text something like this. So this is how you use text, wherein the first syntax goes something here, the element name, and in predicates contains open parenthesis, the key that you want to validate, in our case it was text, and then comma, and the value of the key, in our case it was the text value, close the parenthesis, close the square bracket, and that's it, you are done. So hope this was very helpful to you, and in case you like my videos, then please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and keep learning. Bye.